A 10 out of 10 rating. Well, you can't get much better than that, can you? What about when it comes to the school system? Would you move your kid into a 10 out of 10 school?
We did.
We did. We absolutely did. Hi, you're watching Family 412. Welcome to another episode. A 10 out of 10 rating. Yeah, that's right. That's the school districts that we moved into. In late 2019, we made the life-changing decision to move everything we had and knew from Pennsylvania down here to South Carolina to start a brand new life, a brand new adventure. And it's been an adventure, as we've been talking about. Now, at the end of the last video, I said that I think on our next video, we might touch on some of the reasons why we moved down here from Pennsylvania. And I think we will. And more specifically, since we're on the topic of homeschool, about how we recently left the public school system, I think that would probably be a really great place to start.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big reason we even chose the house that we're in right now, was because we knew it was in a fabulously rated school system.
That's right. It absolutely was. So if you haven't watched our first two videos, I invite you to go ahead and do that. I'll put the links down in the description as you follow along with us. Our family of three, the threefold cord that's not easily broken. I'm going to keep using that phrase.
Well,
But that's what we are.
yeah, it's the basis of our title, because that is a verse that God gave us years ago. Like, wow, that actually describes what we've become, a threefold cord.
That's right. So, in Pennsylvania, now let me start by saying there are many reasons for us moving down here.
Actually, arguably, the number one was the cold to the warm temperatures.
But
we're not a fan of the snow.
Well, yeah, that's a big reason. But I think I always use that because I do get asked this a lot. Why did you move down here? And there's so many reasons. I usually start by saying it's the weather that brought us down here. But really, and I don't even want to say a close second, because if we really think about it, I think the real reason, one of the biggest reasons, was Riker's future, our son's future.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It was always what we just kind of convinced ourselves of. And it didn't take much convincing. It was more repeating of, why is it we want to do this really hard and difficult move? Even though it was to a place that we love, and we've loved Greenville before we even came here. Just by viewing photos and researching, 'cause I'm a researcher, and we discovered this area and we knew we want to move. It was still a very difficult decision for us because we left family, we left friends, but we felt the call here, and we would repeat, why is it we really want to move? And Riker was always number one, honestly.
That's right. So, in Pennsylvania, now he was just entering first grade at the time. In fact, he did go through one full semester when we were still there,
Yes, yeah.
because we didn't move until around about
At
the
Christmas,
halfway. Yeah,
yeah.
it was about the halfway through the year point. So, in Pennsylvania, now let's show them this right here. Here's a map. You can actually see the different rankings for public schools, and Pennsylvania is not bad, number 22.
Yeah, it's higher up.
They're in the top half. They're pretty high up there. South Carolina, though, number 41. They're actually, and I believe they've been kind of consistently low as
Yeah.
far as public schools go.
Lower than I thought.
Lower than I thought, too. They're actually in the bottom 10 of the whole country, the bottom fifth of the
Right.
whole country. They don't have the greatest reputation of the public school system.
Which I was actually pretty shocked at. Yeah.
But so why would we want to actually make the move then if we're seeing that? Well, here's the reason. Let's actually, before we do that, let's take a look at Pennsylvania. So right here, you can see this is where we came from. These are our districts right here. The elementary school, and this is information that you can find in the Zillow listing. I actually put in our former house address and it pulled it up. Now the elementary school is actually not even getting a rating, and we think it could be for a couple reasons. Maybe because they actually have two elementary schools. They have a primary center, K through 2, and then an intermediate center, 3 through 5. So I'm not sure if it accurately pulled the data or it couldn't pull the data for whatever reason.
And also, I want it to be known that the school district we were in was actually known to be a little bit better in the the city we were in versus the surrounding cities.
True. Yes.
So like these ratings, even though they look low, were actually on the higher end
Yeah.
of the area of Pennsylvania we were in.
Right. And if you look at the middle school rating right there, 5 out of 10, now that's where he would be right now.
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, again, your mileage may vary, your experiences could be very different, of course, but a 5 out of 10 school, maybe not the best.
It usually is an indicator of problems.
Let's go to the county now. This is the county in Pennsylvania that we had lived in. And of course, I blacked everything out again because just out of respect. So, taking a look at that, this kind of worried me here. You see that 1 out of 10, the average rating, and you were right about what you had just said.
Yes.
That the school districts we happen to be in, we're a little bit better as a whole than the entire rest of our county was. But a 1 out of 10, that's very much surprising.
Honestly, I'm not surprised. This is the first time I'm seeing that number, but I could name off several school districts that I remember in that area, and it just, they didn't have a great reputation at all.
So now why did we choose to end up where we ended up here? Well, here's the reason. We look at the numbers for the district that we're in right now, and although South Carolina, as you saw, ranks number 41 in the nation, this is our particular area.
Yeah.
Look at that, a 10 out of 10 for the elementary school that he went through, an 8 out of 10 for the middle school, and a 10 out of 10 for the high school.
Yep.
That's almost a perfect score. That is, you don't see that very many places.
No, and that's what was appealing to us. We saw a significant divide of great schools right here, lower ratings on the other side, and we're like, okay, this is where we want to go. And we saw that, and when we were putting in bid for this house, it was like, okay, if we don't get this house, then we need to stay in this school district. And we were specifically looking for homes right here. It was attractive to us.
But are the ratings accurate? Maybe on paper, as far as how they evaluate it, they're pretty accurate. Test scores,
Right.
the quality of the schools and things like that. However, what happens though when you go to a school that's a 10 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10 and you have the experiences that we had?
There's not a how-to for that one.
I guess not. So Riker came out of the 8 out of 10 school right there, and that's, again, these numbers are just astounding. You don't see that. But here's, I guess, kind of the point that we're trying to make with all of this. Just because a school is rated a 10 out of 10, is it going to be a 10 out of 10 for your child, for the student that's going there?
And what measures is that school going to make it that 10 out of 10?
That's exactly right, because you're seeing in a state that's ranked number 41 in the nation. How does this happen exactly? A lot of those ratings are based on the standardized testing that they have.
That they enforce, they push, and they instill into the child that they need to ace this.
Now, these are state tests that are required by every school district in the state, and this is how they evaluate where they're at on their comprehension with reading and what are the other ones? Math, I think.
Yes.
And then there's science that's in there a couple of years too.
It's something that's needed.
Absolutely.
It is something to know where the child falls. If they can, if they're fit to go into the next level. If the school is doing the right thing, it's something that's definitely needed. But we're wanting to ask the question now: is it enforced too much? Are these ratings hyped up because the school has focused on the standardized testing more than the individual child and their experiences?
And speaking of experiences, Riker had an experience at the end of 4th grade.
Yes.
When it was communicated, the tests are taken, at least where we are, in the last about 20 days or so of the school year.
They're usually in May.
Yeah, and Riker came home one day and this is at the end of 4th grade, and he was very worried.
He was actually near tears. And it wasn't just Riker, it was a couple of his friends as well, who they had in their mind that they were going to fail 4th grade if they didn't do well in the standardized testing.
Now, is this something that we weren't there, but is this something that was communicated to them in class by the teachers or by the administration? I don't know.
It sounded like it. I remember I had actually emailed the teacher, and it was the middle of May. It was when the school district was still having a later end time, and he was stressed, and he was stressed because of these SE Ready, and he was completely convinced that he was going to fail fourth grade. And I had to talk him down. We had to talk him down. And we never experienced this level of anxiety from him before. And it wasn't just from Riker, it was friends of his too, that I talked to friends that their kids also had these same anxieties. And I think a lot of these anxieties that arose could have been why I got an email from his teacher.
I remember that.
So, you know what? Let me actually read that.
You still have it?
I still have it.
Can you find
actually.
it quick?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hey, Laura. I was wondering if you could write Riker 4 short, encouraging notes for each of our days of testing. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for your support. And I got this, and I'm like, well, here, see if I can briefly do my response. Hi, such and such. We chose to not write notes for Riker because of how stressed he has been for these standardized tests. He was having a ton of anxiety thinking he'd fail fourth grade if he didn't do well. After talking and encouraging him about it, we decided it's best to seriously downplay the testing. Writing notes that encourage him to do well would be counterproductive. We are so proud of his hard work this year in getting his grades up, working on reading, and completing Brain Busters. This was a program that she had actually given him, and it was really encouraging him. He loved school, so his anxiety over SC Ready was alarming to us. The grade he gets is for the school, and we don't want him to stress about this when there are more important tests, minors, majors, etc. We don't want to imply he would be more loved if he did well on SC Ready. The notes are a great idea, but we disagree on applying them to these particular tests.
So, where do you think that initial email came from, as far as writing him notes? And that's a great idea, yes, but why even have to do that in the first place, you think?
That was actually a concern that I had, and a couple other of my friends who were mothers in the school who also felt the same way, that maybe there was too much emphasis on these tests and
too much pressure to perform
too much
and
pressure.
do well.
And it, in a sense, it was a great idea of this teacher. I think it was her idea. This was her first year at the school this year. I think it might have been her idea. I mean, again, she was a great teacher, and she was probably getting pressure from the administration. Administrations probably get pressure higher up. You know, it's a chain of reactions here, and maybe she was like, okay, we need to calm the students somehow.
It's almost like they got confused that these tests were as much about their grade as their normal tests were in their class.
Well,
which would have led to the stress that they were feeling.
Yes, they probably heard, oh, we're making sure that you're ready to go into the next grade. Well, they think, okay, if I fail this, I'm not ready to go into the next grade.
Yeah. What's this doing to the kids? Because that's really the point of this whole thing that we're trying to make. What is it? I mean, okay, 10 out of 10. There's a reason you're getting a 10 out of 10, and that's great. Any parent would probably want to send their student to a 10 out of 10 school like that. But what is it doing to the kid? Okay, the district looks great.
Right.
The school district, but what about the kids?
Yeah, and I'm actually concerned over high school. I've heard that they regularly announce ratings in the classrooms.
Like class rankings or?
Class rankings, like, okay, here's the top 10. And there's anxiety of, okay, I'm number 9 and 10. Will I fall off? And there's incentives to being in that top. Now in high school, there is a little more pressure, to go into a good college and all of that. But when it goes even lower, when we're in middle school, when we're in elementary school, when we're in 4th grade, there's a balance that needs to happen. And now that we've just finished week 2 of homeschooling, maybe it's just that absence is showing us a little bit more some of these things that we had seen before, but we're seeing it in a little bit clearer of a light.
We're looking back on things that honestly we just forgot about for the most part, but now we're starting to be like, now that makes sense why that happened and why.
Were they clues to the amount of level and the level of pressure that our son has been facing? Was he buckling under the pressure of it all?
You said something really interesting yesterday when we were kind of talking about what we were going to do in this video. And you said, again, you look at where South Carolina is ranked compared to the whole nation, and they're very, very low. Mm-hmm. Yet you wouldn't know it looking at the school districts in the area that we're in.
Right. They're great.
Do you think, and you had made this comment yesterday about how it seems like our area here is like carrying the weight of that responsibility and they're not alone. There's
a
I'm
couple
sure other ones in the
there's
area and throughout the state, of course. But do you think they're almost like carrying the weight of like, we need to get these numbers higher. We need to kind of break that stigma of being in the bottom tier of the entire country?
That's a theory I have. It's not really based on anything. It's the theory of, okay, we have certain schools that are doing very well rating wise, and they're under a lot of pressure to keep up the rating wise. I used to be pretty involved in the schools that Riker's been through. I've been in PTA for a few years now, and I would hear from the administration the beefing up of these different test scores, and we're doing this and we're doing that, and I hesitate because
where's the student in all this?
Yeah. These are great
Where's
people.
your child? Where's my child in this?
Yes, I hesitate because these are great people. I love them. I'm blaming it on the pressure from higher up, because think about any kind of job position. You're going to have that boss pressure of the numbers, getting those numbers. And when that higher up boss just sees numbers and doesn't see the worker, and the worker is the student now, they're not going to see that person. They don't see the actual face of these kids.
I'm not sure if I brought this up in the first video when we were talking about the reasons we pulled Riker out of the middle school he was in. I had talked, the last day he was there, I had talked to the 7th grade administrator, and we were trying to organize a meeting, us with Riker, himself, and the teachers, to kind of figure out a solution. And his response was, okay, well, let's do that. We've got some tests. It's the end of the quarter. We've got some testing to get through and all that, and then we'll see. And I said,
it was like going to be a week or two before
it was going to be a week or two.
Yeah.
And I get that things take time, but I said, what's more important here, these testings or the student?
What was his response to that?
Well, he gave me the right answer, at least the answer that somebody in his position should give. Of course, he said, well, the students are.
But his actions said otherwise.
Again, I felt like it was the response that I needed to hear. I'm not saying he didn't mean that in any way, but it kind of just makes you wonder. That was Riker's last day of school.
Yeah, well,
he
had also said a similar thing to me, though, of it taking a week or two to get a meeting together. And
while day after day after day, he's going to continue to get warnings and written up and ISSs and all that.
And that's why I had the response of, we're going to take care of this ourselves then.
Yeah.
And I couldn't imagine another week or two of
going
daily emails or calls, and another week or two. That's enough time for another day or two of in-school suspension.
Absolutely. When you see ratings like this, it does make you wonder, okay, what is this area, what is the school district doing different? And yes, it's attractive to go into if you're the one moving to the area. Oh, 10 out of 10 school, absolutely, that's a home run. We hit it out of the park with this school. But when it comes down to your child, your children, is that really the right thing for them? Do your research.
Are they seeing the numbers or are they seeing the kids?
That's right. And that's kind of what we wanted to share in this video today. What do you think about all of this? Have you been in a school district that gets an 8, 9, or a 10 out of 10, but had a similar experience? Or maybe you're in an area where statistically they should be doing good, but you're maybe not in the best schools. Maybe they're the 5 or the 6 out of the 10s, but you're still having a great experience. Your child is thriving. Let us know in the comments.
Good teachers are everywhere.
That's right.
And
good teachers and good schools are everywhere too.
Yes.
But are they looking at your child? Are they doing what they should be doing to make sure your child gets the attention, gets the education that they need without all that pressure, without all that stress?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. We hope you'll like and subscribe and keep it tuned right here on Family 412 for some more great insights. Thank you so much.
Do your research and stay educated. I know we're trying to be.